Hey everyone, how's it going? I have another tutorial video for you today. This one will be about basic radar usage in the F-16 and employment of the radar-guided missiles that we have, i.e. the AIM-120 AMRAAM. Specifically, I'm going to be focusing in this video on the range well search RWS mode. I'll go into probably not too much detail about how the radar works and all the systems and things, partially because I don't know this in a spectacular amount of detail, but this will be a video that's probably hopefully helpful for people who are beginners to maybe DCS in general, or specifically the F-16, and just how to lock up and engage some air-to-air targets in the beyond visual range arena. So, a little bit about the radar. In DCS, we have, in the F-16, has the AN/APG-68 fire control radar, which is a B-scope radar, which means that it's a top-down view. So, instead of like the top of this being higher elevation and the bottom being lower elevation, it means that this is farther away from us, i.e. 40 nautical miles as we have it set, and this is closer to us. And targets that are closer to the top are farther away than targets, or contacts I should say, that are closer to the bottom here. So it has an effective range of about 70 nautical miles, but its display range can go up and potentially detect targets out to 160 nautical miles. You can increase and decrease the range with the OSB buttons here. So you can set it to 80, 160, or all the way down to 5 nautical miles. Additionally, you can adjust that with the ACQ cursor, the acquisition cursor, by going to the top or the bottom of the display and adjust it like that. So another symbology that's on this, the lines here, these green lines, are 1/4 of the range, 1/2 and 3/4 of the range, so whatever that is for our range that we have set there. So this would be 20 nautical miles, 40 nautical miles, 60 nautical miles, and then 80 at the top, so you can kind of estimate the distance of the contacts that you're seeing. So these are probably about 50 nautical miles out, or between 40 and 60 nautical miles out. It has a maximum azimuth or horizontal arc of 120 degrees. You can change that here where it says A6, which is between 3, 1, and 6. And what that indicates is degrees right and left of the bore sight or center line. So right now it's the full 120 degrees, or A6. So it's 60 degrees right off to this side from the bore sight, and to the left is there as well. And same thing for A3, it would be 30 degrees, and then for A10, it would be 10 degrees on either side. It also has a 1, 2, or 4 bar scan pattern. What that means is that the radar will scan in a 1 bar scan. It'll, if you can see my the yellow cursor here, just go back and forth like this. 2 bar, it goes up like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4 bar is a pattern kind of like this. This is just a way to picture it. It's not an entirely accurate representation, but it's just a visual. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives you basically a greater range and altitudes that the radar will be scanning for. But it also means, because it has to go through its transmitting and scanning phase, it's doing that in a larger area, it'll take longer to get the returns. So it's sometimes better in certain situations to adjust that and maybe set it lower so that you get the returns faster and you get updated data more quickly. Additionally, the numbers next to the acquisition cursor here, right now it says 39 and 05. Those are the altitudes at the top and bottom of the radar beam at the distance of where our cursor is. So where we have it right here, it'll be scanning approximately up to altitudes of 39,000 feet and down to altitudes of 5,000 feet. You can adjust this with the antenna elevation cursor. I will go through all the controls that we're going to need today shortly, but you can adjust this up and down like that. So the mode that we're going to be focusing on today is the range well search, or RWS mode, which is the default search mode for when we're in air-to-air mode, and it's just the default search mode of the FCR, fire control radar. It is an all aspect radar, so it can detect targets that are nose on or tail on or up or down, up and above us or below us, or in all other aspects. And it can detect and display large numbers of contacts at one time. So, like I said a minute ago, I'll now be going through the controls. First things we're going to need: target management switch, up, down, left, and right. Up and down will be for locking and locking and unlocking targets. Left we can use for IFF interrogating of targets, and right can be used to switch between range well search and track well scan modes. Next thing we will need is the display management switch here, which we are going to use for setting our fire control radar or either of our MFDs or the HUD as SOI, as sensor of interest. We'll also need the expand field of view button, which we will use for switching between normal and expanded modes, which I'll show you in a little bit. We will need the radar cursor switch for slewing the acquisition cursor around to select and detect and lock targets. We will also need the antenna elevation. Sorry, that's also in access commands, I believe. There it is, our antenna elevation knob. And also you can have the nose wheel steering AR disconnect missile step button that you can press, do a short press and switch between the specific missile station that you have selected. Or you can do a long press and switch between your sidewinders or AMRAMs. And we will also need our weapon release to fire the missiles. And additionally, you don't have to do this, you can just press the button on the ICP, but the air-to-air master mode button. So, talk about some symbology now. So, right now, we do not have an AWACS, so we don't have anybody working with our data link. We have nobody in our flight that we will really be able to help correlate what these targets are. So most of the time, you're just going to see these little boxes with the little line underneath it, which are our radar contacts. These circles here that are the green circles are friendly targets, or friendly contacts, I should say. If you see a hollow white box, which is an unknown contact that's provided by a data link donor. So if you have an AWACS or other aircraft in your flight, or an early warning radar or ship radar or something like that you're working with, hollow yellow box is a suspect target or suspect contact. So it's suspected that it's hostile, but that's not confirmed. So maybe in some situations, you may want to visually identify that with your targeting pod or by some other means. A hollow red triangle is a hostile, and a hollow green circle, like we see, are friendlies. Now, what we can do is we can slew our acquisition cursor over some of these targets. I'm trying to find one. There were some here that were that there were multiple targets. I guess we can do that here. I'll just demonstrate. So if you press the expand field of view button on this, you can see it goes into this mode here, which basically zooms in on what you're looking at. So if you suspect there could be multiple targets that are in close formation, it can be difficult to see that on the radar. So if you press the expand field of view mode button on your HOTAS, it will go into the expanded mode, and then you can see these closer up, and then you can lock these targets more easily. You can separate them to lock them. Here's some hostiles here. So we can lock these up with TMS up. You can also lock two targets by pressing TMS up on those, and you can see that one of them has a circle around it, which is our priority target, and then the other one is our secondary target. You can swap between those by pressing TMS right short, like so. The lines to whatever side of it in whichever direction is the vector line, which is the direction that that aircraft is going. And the number underneath it is the altitude, approximate altitude in thousands of feet. So you can see the targets we have locked are at 10,000 feet, and these ones over here are at 11,000 feet. Now, these are just general contacts. We don't know if they're friendly or not. So what we can do is you can press your TMS left, and it will scan those. And you can see that these targets over here that we know are friendlies, they have this 4 in a green circle that pops up next to them, and that confirms that they are friendlies, or their IFF transmitter is saying that, hey, we're friendlies, and don't shoot us. So, but these targets that we have locked, they don't say that. So it basically, that doesn't confirm that they're hostile. It confirms that they're just simply not friendlies. But depending on the situation that you're in and the rules of engagement for whatever mission you're doing, you may want to, or may be able to assume that they are hostiles, which is what we're going to do in this scenario, because there are only friendlies and hostiles, and those that are not identified or confirmed as friendlies must be hostiles. So I'll just unlock these real quick, exit that mode. First thing we need to do, go to air mode. You can press that on the ICP here, or press your own keybind. You can see that pulls up this circle on the HUD here, which shows that we have our AMRAAM selected, or our radar guided missile selected, and also on the left side it says 5 MRM, just 5 AMRAAMs. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Also, it pulls up on our right MFD our SMIS page, this stores management page. I don't remember exactly what that stands for, I'm sorry. But you can see we have on the stations 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9, we have AMRAAMs, and then this M here indicates that we have a Sidewinder. So you can press your missile step button, cycle through those if you want to. We'll just go back to 7, or you can press and hold, switch to our Sidewinders. We'll just go back to that. Also, you can, what I like to do is, because I don't need to be seeing that information there, it's not particularly useful to me anymore, I will just set this back to HSD. You can do that by pressing the OSB button on the MFD, or you can do DMS, data management, or display management switch, I'm sorry, right short. Switch it back to that. Next thing we can do, come up here, find a target. You can do a spotlight search to kind of focus the radar beam on that by doing TMS long. Just hold it up long. Interrogate them again. These are friendlies. Set this to our wider search. Oops. Cheat a little bit just to see kind of where these are over here. Up here's some. So go over here. Try to find that target again. I lost that contact. There's another one though. Lock this one up. You can do IFF interrogate on that. Comes up as unknown. We'll assume it's hostile. Now we can start seeing some of this HUD symbology here. It's a little clustered, so hopefully when we get closer it'll be a bit better. We'll climb up here. But you can see we have this caret here and the number next to it. That indicates our closure rate, and the caret is our range, just kind of general distance to the target. In a little bit it'll come up and it'll give us a more precise range underneath here. Oh, here's some more. This target's about 35 miles away. We can see that here. Oh, I'm sorry, that just reminded me. One other symbol on the FCR that I forgot to mention is this little wedding cake symbol, as it's indicated. That basically, or that simply just indicates what your waypoint, your current waypoint is, and then so you can kind of maybe see what targets are in relation to that, or where they are in relation to that. Try and get one of these. It's a little closer. I'm sorry, I just want to get one of these targets that, so we can, there we go, we can see the symbology better. So this target that's over here, I'll turn towards this one. It's at 16,000 feet. You can see that, sorry, let me just pull my notes up. The caret at the top here, this one indicates our maximum range for the missile, its maximum aerodynamic range. So that's just the farthest it can it can go until it just completely just stalls and goes stupid. Like I said earlier, this is our closure rate, 730 knots. This is our range to the target. This circle here is the missile's pitbull range. Pitbull is basically when the active radar guided missiles, so a Fox 3 missile, takes over using its own radar to guide to the target. Initially, it just uses the aircraft's radar, and via data link it needs that to start to guide to it. If you lose the lock prior to the missile going pitbull, it'll just go stupid, and it won't guide because it has no guidance. Eventually, though, I'm not entirely sure how well this is modeled in DCS, but I believe, at least in real life, once the missile does get to its pitbull range and its radar activates, it'll still try to find a target, but it'll just go to where the last known position of what it was originally guiding to. But should that target maneuver, which it probably will, then it won't be there anymore, and then the missiles, in all intents and purposes, probably is just, it's not going to do anything. It's just a rocket. Now, the top of the line here is the top of the box here is the maximum range against a maneuvering target, and so if the target is turning, trying to defend, you're going to want to maybe be within that so that the missile is much more likely to hit it. And at the very bottom here is the minimum range of the missile. So we'll turn here. Head towards that. Oops, I lost the lock. Again. I think this is a different target, but still fine. Now we're just about within range. It's on the maneuver range. So you're about 13 miles out. At least increase our closure rate. Make sure you have master arm on. Now as we get within range, you can see a couple things change. This small circle in the middle has started to expand to indicate that we're getting within our effective range for against a maneuvering target. And this number underneath has popped up, 09 M, which is about 9 nautical miles. Keep coming here. Closure rate's increasing because we're going very fast, Mach 1.45 now. Within our maximum range against a maneuvering target, press and hold weapon release, Fox 3. See it there? That's tally. Splash. And we can unlock that target. You can see our radar automatically as we got closer changed the scale down to 5 nautical miles as we approach the merge. Other targets here, expand the field of view. These targets are moving quickly. Got one locked up. Can lock up its wingman. Same thing. Then pitbull range, which is good for this. A little bit closer. You can certainly fire from this range as well. That I think I will. Fox 3. Then we're going to do TMS right. Swap to our secondary target. In range, Fox 3 again. splash 1, or I should say splash 2, and that's splash 3. So hopefully you found this video helpful, informative, etc. I hope I did an okay job explaining. If you have any questions, let me know. I will try my best to answer them. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm really not an expert on radars. I don't know that much about it, but I know evidently how to get some missiles off the rails and hopefully onto some foreheads. Anyway, I hope you maybe enjoyed this video, found it helpful, etc. If you want to consider subscribing or leaving a like, that really genuinely means a lot to me. I'd really appreciate it. Any suggestions for other tutorials, any requests or for videos or anything else, you know, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to hear that. Any positive feedback, any criticisms, but, you know, be respectful. Be nice about it. And anyway, I hope I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.